different approaches to CDA. James G's approach. It's an integrated approach to discourse analysis, the analysis of spoken and written language as it is used to enact social and cultural perspective and identities. So it looks at the language used in both spoken and written, and the way language is used to perform certain social function as well as cultural functions, and how it indicates identities of the people who use language. So it assumes no prior knowledge of linguistics. James Paul G presents both a theory of language in use as well as a method of research. So it shows a theory of language, which is the language that is in use. So you can look at the language that is being used, and obviously he proposes a method to research the same language. Another approach is of Norman Fairclough. He developed a three-dimensional framework for studying discourse, where the aim is to map three separate forms of analysis onto one another. Analysis of spoken and written language text. First, that we analyze the spoken language and the written language. Analysis of text. Analysis of discourse practices. Processes of text production, distribution, and conception. Second thing is that he analyzed the discourse practices that include how the text was produced and distributed, conveyed, and consumed, and how it was made effective. Analysis of discursive events. So discursive, multidimensional. Obviously, in any event, there are certain factors which are not in our control. These discursive factors, multidimensional, right, which don't have any order, as instances of social cultural practices. So he has a three-dimensional approach. So Gunther Kress is one of the people credited with developing the branch of scholarship referred to as critical linguistics. So he developed this critical linguistics. He used a social semiotic approach to contemporary communication and bring visual communication by applying social semiotic. So what's science referring to a society explain? So with the help of this theory, he tries to express the communication found in any visual. So a theory based on meaning, social context, cultural context. So this theory consists of these three things. What are meaning? What it has with the context with reference to social and cultural context. How do we understand their meaning with reference to culture? Because every culture has its own thoughts and own do's and don'ts to developing multimodality phenomenon. So using these three things, meanings, social context, and cultural context, he made a model with the help of this semiotic theory. He equates with understanding of communication, but not the style or meaning of that communication. So he tries to understand communication, but not the way, the style of was it a formal or informal style, the style of or the meaning, what the communication generally gives meaning is not concerned. He has a social semiotic approach, and his approach is concerned with how meanings are made in both the outward representation of sign and also the inner representation of sign. How, when we look at a visual, what meaning we get from it, and what actually were the meaning or inner meaning of the or the subjective meaning of the person who made that visual. So he tries to understand the discourse through these two ways. So each of these approaches provide a set of tools and resources for understanding social events and practices that are taken up depending on the question. So what we also need to look for these tools, as well as we need to design our new tools to have a better understanding of the discourse. So obviously, whenever we look at a discourse, we have some question before us, and we like to answer each question with the detailed study of that discourse by applying any of these approaches to that discourse.